Hello and welcome to the Merle Unlocked podcast. I'm Merle.
And I'm Locke the Builder.
Set sail and low expectations for everything nerd. Accompanied by healthy, albeit shameful, helping to pointless banter like focus and questionably acquired knowledge.
And more.
Can we fix it?
Yes, we can!
So we'll preface this episode with the fact that Locke unfortunately has some construction work going on outside.
I unfortunately cannot go out there and yell at guys that are doing their job.
You're not one of those people.
I could be one of those guys that just sits out on a porch and judges them, tells them they're doing their job wrong, but I won't do that.
That's not how I would do it.
Are you sure that hole's big enough?
Gosh, anyway, let's get into the topic. All right. Now, this could all be in my head. I'm not entirely sure.
Probably is.
It probably is. But over the past year, I've found that I'm pretty sure most of every game that I've been interested in, keeping an eye on, waiting for the release, following the development, they've all come out with demos in which to try their game. So all the demos were so good that I've played, and I thought demos were dying off for the longest time. I felt like I barely saw demos for games for a while there, and it was just full investment from the get-go.
All or nothing.
Yeah, and it was getting frustrating, especially looking into a game, trying to do the research, being like, is it worth my money? Do I think I'm going to actually be interested in it? And not having the opportunity to actually try it out beforehand. And with all the demos that have come out for all these different games, like, for example, Schedule 1 had a demo in which I loved. I went and bought the game because it was so good.
He had a clever setup for that too. He called the demo free sample. The premise of the game is you give your customers a free sample to get them hooked on the product, right? So it was very clever.
Drive Beyond Horizons came out with the demo. That was a game that I was really interested in, thought it was super cool, was waiting for the release, and then it did drop. I was already on board. I was like, this looks so much fun. I think I love this game. But then I went to the page and saw it was $20. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's not too bad. Maybe I will wait. But then I scrolled down a little bit further and saw free demo. And I was like, oh, get the demo. So
I've also seen other games use the tactic of you pay a cheaper price for it while it's still in progress, so that when they do finally get a hold of what they're looking for and making the game better, and you're kind of putting your input on it, you didn't at least spend 30, 40 or more bucks on a game that wasn't finished. I remember when Ark came out, it wasn't even finished, obviously, and we only paid $10 on console. It was just so quirky. There's so many broken mechanics. Watching your buddy just like glitch and twist and then get flung into outer space was hilarious. They eventually, fixed some of those bugs. And now the game's much more expensive than it used to be.
Yeah, it is pretty pricey now, but it's a good game. A lot of fun times. As the demos go, it's a great tactic, right? If you come out with a demo, somebody tries out your demo, that developer just recruited somebody to sell their product, because that person is going to play the free demo just to try it out. And if they love it, they'll be like, oh, I want to play with more people. So I'm going to tell all my friends about it and try to sell them this product and get them on board with playing this game. And they try out the demo, they like it, and then however many players it is, that's how many sales you just got out of releasing that demo and one person getting a hold of it, because they just sold it off to all their friends. I think it's a great business model, and I don't know why for the longest time, unless it was just because it takes time to not necessarily create a new game, but try to find a way of framing it as a demo and not being a full release, putting boundaries around the game so that they can't get the full experience, and they'll get just enough to entice them to get the full release. So it could be out of, I don't want to say laziness necessarily, but I guess needlessness, or they don't see the benefit of coming out with a free demo.
Or they didn't come up with that concept, like where to start it out to explain to people where to start. I feel like certain games that have a free demo, you almost know where they kind of started with their project. It's almost like they started with the free demo first to kind of get the feel for it and know what they wanted to do with the project. And then they're like, you know what, this would be a perfect way to also explain to others that this is what the game's about and how to do the game. And then there's other games where they just throw you into the mix and they're like, good luck.
Yeah, have at it.
Have at it. Figure it out as you go. Lord knows we had to.
I think the whole thing was early release has been a big part of gaming as of late. I feel like a lot of developers or these indie developers were using that as a form of not a free demo, but releasing a little something, see how many people are interested in it, how many complaints there were, whatever gripes they might have against the game, and then they can make changes to their game as a result of those reviews. I feel like so many developers were taking that path and creating a game around the community that was participating. But a lot of the times it fell off for a lot of people because people would play the game, have all these gripes, being like, here's a bad review saying I shouldn't have paid money for this. Hopefully they fix it in future. But then the person will never return to the game. They left a bad review. The developers are still developing the game. But then when new people come around to check out the game, there's already all these bad reviews. So they're already on the back foot as far as releasing the full release of the game. Whereas taking more time to develop the game before releasing a demo or getting up to a demo release and then expanding on it from there. I just think it's a better format. As a person that plays these games, I feel more confident in the developer and their abilities to make a good game if they have a completed demo before they release anything that costs money. That's just me. That's just my opinion on it. I just think it's a better business model.
I feel like it fits with the times more, is a well put together demo, one that kind of helps explain what to expect, what to do. But at the same time, growing up in a generation where we were just given games and they had no explanation as to how they work, they pretty much ran under the assumption that you have played that type of game before. And they're like, okay, here you go. That's what you had to do. You had to read through things. I know we talked about this before. You read through, you figure it out, and you do what you got to do.
When it comes to those demos, I'm thinking back to the point about the business models, is that the demo is a summary. Say if you're writing a book and you want to pitch it to a publisher, you don't just hand them a quarter of the book. You don't send them the first quarter and be like, this is what I got so far. What do you think? No, you flesh out the story and then you summarize it and then you pitch it to the publisher and see if they want to pick up your project.
You can't say that you can't do it. You can absolutely do it. But whether or not it's recommended, that's where we might draw some questions. Probably not.
Okay. They probably won't even open your email.
Anyway. They'll be like, this guy.
This freaking guy.
Always comes in with half-baked projects, never fully finished.
But I do have one gripe when it comes to demos.
Lay it on me.
That I feel like I need to get out there, is that if you're to release a demo, I would appreciate it more if it were at least a bit better optimized. You know, just so it doesn't, I don't know, for example, brick your GPU. I feel like that's reasonable.
It's almost like you've came across this experience yourself.
Okay. All right. So I don't want to talk crap on this game too much. It looks like it's going to be a great game. It's got a lot of great reviews, but this demo came out for this game called Jump Ship. I've been really excited about. I've been keeping an eye on it. I've been following it, and they just released a demo, and I checked it out with a buddy of mine. We didn't try doing any matchmaking or anything yet, so we were just playing through the tutorial. As I was getting through it, like the movement was great. It was so fluid. The graphics were awesome. They were batting 1,000 at this point, right? It was looking so good. But then all of a sudden, everything just went black. Like my screen's shut out, accessories turned off, the fans on it just started going crazy, and nothing was responding. I had to turn off my PC, and I tried to turn it back on again. The fans started whirring. The displays weren't coming on. So I turned it off again, cut off all the power to it, opened it up. I reseated the RAM sticks. I took out the graphics card and reseated it, plugged up everything again, turned it back on, and the displays came back on. So crisis averted, right? You know, everything's good. But I didn't open the game again. I decided to give that a break. I don't know what it was with the game, but my computer didn't like it. Something was up. The next day, I went to go turn my computer on, and no display. I could not get anything to display. I did the same thing with reseating. I kept cycling my computer's power, and I just could not get it to display anything. So I grabbed my old graphics card, my old 1070, and replaced my brand new 3080, and everything started working. And I was like, oh no. So it is my graphics card. My graphics card was completely bricked. I was so upset about it. I called my brother and told him about it because my brother and sister-in-law actually got that graphics card for me because I've never been able to afford the newest GPUs. And so they decided to look after me and they got me a Gigabyte 3080. So I went on to Steam to leave a review. I left a negative review because I was upset.
As one does.
Yeah, I was like, this bricked my Gigabyte 3080. And I started looking into Reddit forums and other reviews, and everybody else was saying the same thing about their Gigabytes, like 3080s, 3090s, and saying that they were completely bricked. And I was like, oh, this is happening to everybody that has these graphics cards. That sucks. You know, I wonder if the developers are keeping an eye on this so that they could take down their demo before it costs thousands of dollars worth of
damages.
Yeah. And no, they never took it down. And they started saying that it's not the game's fault, it's the hardware's fault. And it's like, well, okay. Come on, guys. Look at all these people that have all their GPUs bricked because of this. And I got, somebody else left a message on my review and he's like, lol, a game can't crash your GPU. And I'm like, apparently it fucking can, bud. Like, look at this. Look at all these other reviews. What the fuck is wrong with you? And it's like instantly tried to discredit me. God knows whatever reason. And yes, usually it can't. But if it's poorly optimized enough, apparently it can. Now, I don't know a whole lot about these Gigabyte GPUs, and, I know they're on the cheaper end, and you have those other people leaving reviews, like trying to counter us that are saying that our GPUs are bricked, and they're like, oh, well, you should have invested in a better graphics card. Like, fuck you, bud.
Absolute snobs about what kind of things that you own.
We can't all afford these very high-end graphics cards, and we're just doing our best to be able to play the latest and greatest games. So it was really unfortunate. I'm out of my fancy graphics card. I'm back to my old crappy one. I mean, it's not crappy. It's okay.
It works. It does what it needs to. It displays video.
Yeah. Which is the most I could ask for right now, admittedly.
That's what you really want out of a video card.
Yeah, is video.
Yeah,
absolutely. But it's one game that I had trouble with. I'm sure the game is probably great or gonna be great, but unfortunately, little hiccup, and I'm probably never gonna touch the demo again because I'm scared of it.
Ever since you told me the story, even though I have a 3060 Asus, I've been hesitant to even try it.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I better not risk it.
In the grand scheme of things, demos are amazing. They're an amazing business model. They create awesome opportunities for gamers and developers alike. But I would let them simmer for a little bit because that demo had just come out and I got it, I think, the day of it releasing or the day after.
So what I'm hearing from Merle is get a demo to really test the capabilities of your computer.
If it totally shits the bed.
Well, that game's not for you.
Be careful. Tread lightly.
Tread lightly.
Tread lightly. If you enjoy the Merle and Locke podcast, please consider becoming a patron by going to patreon.com/Merle and Locke or simply follow the link in the description. Thank you.